Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something a bit different, a character you might barely notice in Mobile Suit Gundam, the origin.
Yeah, we're focusing on Marker Clan. He's an operator on the White Base.
Right, not exactly Amuro or Char, is he?
Definitely not, but that's the point. We're looking at his role in both the Origin manga and the OVA series.
Okay, let's set the scene. Who is Marker Clan?
He's Earth Federation Space Force, EFSF, serving during the One-Year War, so UC 00079.
And his rank? Private First Class?
Exactly. Puts him pretty low on the totem pole, part of the enlisted crew on this, well, iconic ship.
So the mission for this deep dive is what? To figure out why a background character like him matters.
Pretty much. Does focusing on someone like Marker give us, a better feel for the origin story and just how a ship like the White Base actually worked day to day?
Makes sense. So what was his specific job on board?
Primarily, he's a bridge operator, sitting console.
Doing what exactly? Monitoring things.
Monitoring sensors, handling communications traffic, feeding information to the officers. People like Bright Noah.
So navigation, tactical support, that kind of thing.
Right. And you almost always see him pictured next to his counterpart, Oscar Dublin. They're like a fixture at those consoles.
That pairing, it sort of paints a picture of the bridge needing constant, coordinated effort, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It wasn't just Bright making decisions in a vacuum. It highlights the teamwork needed just to keep the ship operational, let alone fighting.
Okay, so where do we actually see him in the origin? Let's start with the manga.
He's there consistently in the bridge scenes, especially in the volumes covering events after the initial Side 7 chaos.
So even if chapter summaries focus on the main plot points, he's visually present.
Yeah, he's part of the background fabric of the bridge crew. His presence is functional.
And the OVA, the advent of the Red Comet series.
There, he's explicitly mentioned as part of the crew pretty early on, even before the White Base really gets thrown into the thick of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he even shows up in some of the promotional stuff for, I think it was episode 6. So they established him as being part of that crew from the get-go in this version.
Now, there's one detail that seems, well, significant for a background guy.
Ah, you mean the Luna II speech.
Exactly. General Revel's big address after the Battle of Loom. Our sources say Marker Clan was there.
He was, just a face in the crowd, obviously not speaking or anything.
But still, that's a pivotal moment in the war. It shifted everything for the Federation.
It really did. And placing Marker there, even as an observer, it subtly connects this everyday crew member to these huge historical turning points. It adds a layer,
It makes him more than just guy at console number 2.
Right. It grounds the big events.
Yeah.
These things happen to and around real people, even the ones not in the history books.
And we should remember, Marker wasn't created for the origin, was he?
Nope. He existed back in the original 1979 Mobile Suit Gundam series. Same role, bridge operator, usually seen with Oscar.
So the origin is reinterpreting, not totally rewriting his function?
Exactly. It maintains that continuity for these support roles. The key difference, really, is the origin making that explicit connection to Revel's speech. That specific detail adds depth in this retelling.
Okay, let's pull it together. Marker Clan isn't a pilot, not an officer making command decisions. So what's his real contribution in the origin narrative? Why focus on him?
Well, I think it's about understanding the machine of war, or even just any large organization.
How so?
His consistent, competent work is fundamental. The White Base simply couldn't function without people like him and Oscar doing their jobs reliably, day in, day out, under incredible stress.
He represents the necessary collective effort, the support structure.
Precisely. He's the embodiment of all the essential personnel who aren't in the spotlight, but are absolutely critical for the main characters and the ship itself to survive and succeed.
So, summing up, Marker Clan. Seemingly minor, but his constant presence shows us the nuts and bolts of running a warship like the White Base.
And the origin elevates him just slightly by linking him, even passively, to a major historical event within its own timeline.
It really makes you think, how many people like Marker Clan exist behind the scenes of any big story or major event?
Yeah, the unsung individuals just doing their jobs, forming the backbone of it all.
Makes you wonder what other background figures and stories might have hidden connections or represent something deeper if we just looked closer.
Definitely food for thought. Who else is quietly witnessing history?
Something to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.